Okay, we're back for lesson 7.4, share and show. Okay, I'm going to read the directions to you first. The first set says circle groups of 3 to find 12 divided by 3. Now remember when we were doing these chapters before, you have to be very careful of the way that they say the clue. Where do they put the number 3? Okay, since they don't say 3 at the beginning of the word groups, they don't say 3 groups, they say groups of 3, and the 3 is at the end. So be careful what that 3 really means then. How do you draw that, okay, to finish this one? 12 divided by 3 equals what, okay, and it's groups of 3. Then the bottom, you can find the quotient whichever way you'd like. You can use a related multiplication fact by going backwards. You can draw picture models. You could skip backwards on a number line, okay? So you can choose any strategy that's good for you, okay? All right, so pause the video now so you can try those and then start it again when you're ready to see how well you did. Okay, so I'm going to start these ones. I'm going to change my pen color. The yellow is a little too hard to see. All right, so like I said, you need to circle groups of 3. The 3 is not at the beginning of the word groups. It doesn't say 3 groups. It says groups of 3. So whenever it's at the end, they kind of like leave off the last words of this clue. It means groups of 3 in each. So I need to put 3 inside of each of my groups. So they should look something like this. And hopefully yours looks something like that too. And now I'll count how many groups I was able to make. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you got 4, great job. If you got 4 and didn't have this picture, you need to be more careful of reading the clue. So you need to erase the way you drew the picture and make sure you have 3 in each group, not 3 groups with 4 in each, okay? All right, finding the quotient down here. Maybe for this first one, I might do a number line. I'm going to start with 6. I'm going to do 6, count back a group of 3. So 6 minus 3 would be 3. 3, count back a group of 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. How many times did I do that? 1, 2. Okay, next one, 14 divided by 2. Maybe for this one, I'm going to remember that we learned 2 tricks for dividing by 2 in the very first lesson of this chapter, and it was thinking of the double, okay? So if you're dividing by 2, you're dividing it into 2 groups that are equal to each other. So 2 numbers that are the same that add to equal your total. So that means what's the double that makes 14? So if I split 14 down into 2 groups, I would have to have a 7 and a 7. If you put those together, they equal 14. So 14 divided by 2 groups will be 7 in each. Okay, next one, 21 divided by 3. Today we did 3s. So maybe my other strategy I could do is going backwards and doing it a multiplication fact. So what times 3 equals 21? And hopefully this is one you have memorized by now. Usually the 3s are towards the beginning of memorizing, and you got 7. 7 times 3 is 21. If you weren't able to get 7 from memory, then you would skip count by 3s. Okay, last one, 30 divided by 5. Okay, now I'm going to remind us of a mental math trick for dividing by 5s, and that is maybe divide it by 10 first, because I'm good at mentally dividing by 10. So 30 divided by 10 is actually 3. But I really wasn't supposed to break it down into 10 tiny groups. I was supposed to only break it down into 5 groups. So instead of those 10 tiny groups, I'm kind of smush 2 of the groups back together at a time so that there's only 5 groups. So those are bigger. And since 2 of the little groups that I had that had 3 in each are getting smushed back together, I'm actually taking that 3 and doubling it. So now I need to do 3 plus 3. Whoa, that does not look like a 3. And so that would actually equal 6. So I divide by 10, got 3, and then I double my answer. 3 plus 3 is 6. If you got that, very good job. Go ahead and move on to the on your own.